everybody and welcome back to my YouTube channel. My name is Jess and today's video is going to be a little bit different, but I've been seeing these tier listing videos going around on YouTube recently and I thought let's go ahead and tier rank every single 5-star read that I have given this year. So I have set up, and if this goes correctly I will have this recorded on my screen, but I have set up my own tier list, which hopefully you guys can see, and my head's like in the corner or somewhere else that isn't here. But I have set myself up a tier list that looks a little something like this. I thought it'd be really fun to sit down and go through some of my 5-star reads and basically see what I think about them now. So at the top we have 6 stars, which means that it actually goes beyond that of a 5-star. I love the book so much. A definite 5-star is exactly what it says on the tin, or a solid 5-star, exactly what it says on the tin. I rated it 5 stars. I still believe it's a 5-star book. I wouldn't rate it any higher and I wouldn't rate it any lower. The would recommend bracket is literally just a higher book than an okay book. It's just, I would recommend it. It's something that I keep going to consistently, but maybe it's more like a 4.5 star read for me now, or 4.75. I was too generous. This one is basically one that I think I would probably change my rating upon, like on a reread. Then we have I would change my rating, so that means that I don't even need a reread to change my rating. I don't think it was necessarily a 5-star read. And then we've got the bottom one, which was I don't really know what to put in this last rating thing, because I don't want to put anything too savage, because I don't think I've actually read any absolutely horrific books this year. I've read 1 or 2 that I really disliked that I ended up giving 1 star to, but I haven't had that happen a lot this year, and for that I am thankful. Okay, let's go through one by one. Sorry if you can see these Sonic pictures here. I'm not sure why they're there or how they got there, but they're there now. We have 4 books out of the 5 that are totally published, or I should say 5 volumes we have 4 out of 5 volumes that are that are currently published from the Lore Olympus series on this list that I'm pointing at the moment. So Lore Olympus Volume 1. See, I still think I would give this a solid 5-star. I really enjoyed this graphic novel series. In case you're wondering, it is a Hades and Persephone kind of retelling. It's like a modernized version of The Gods. I would say make sure you read the trigger warnings for this series. The thing is, this is kind of spoilers for what I've read in December so far, but I have just reread all of these and I still think my kind of star ratings are going to be pretty similar. So I feel like these are all going to be in the 5-star, a solid 5-star kind of area. Okay, The Stolen Heir by Holly Black. Oh, I remember really liking this one, but I know so many people didn't get along with it. So I'm like, do I say would recommend? So it's kind of like a reread. I might need to reread it and consolidate my thoughts and opinions. But at the same time, it was a solid 5-star read and I really did enjoy it. No, I loved our main character. I thought our female main character was so different to anything that I've ever read from in the perspective of before. I know a lot of people weren't happy with the way that this book ended, but I personally really enjoyed it. But I am someone who has really enjoyed Holly Black's writing and who loved the Folk of Air trilogy. So if you weren't a fan, you may not have liked it. Loads of people say you don't have to read the Folk of Air trilogy before you go into this book, but I personally would say you definitely do, because otherwise you have no context on the characters that you meet in this book, and you don't really have any connections because the character building isn't built back up. So it's not a series that you kind of jump into having not read the Folk of Air trilogy, in my opinion. If you really dislike the Folk of Air trilogy, you could definitely give it a go, but I would say there's not many descriptors on those characters and what they've been through. There's not really like a recap at the beginning of the book, or when you meet the new characters, there's not really too much of a recap, at least from what I can remember. I did read it in January, I believe, so quite a long time ago now. I have Restore Me and Defy Me here. Now, one of these I would definitely say is still a 5-star, but honestly, this kind of whole series blends together in my brain, and this is kind of how it was when I read it when I was younger as well. It just really blended in my brain. Like, the books didn't really have much differentiation between them, like enough that it didn't merge in my head and become a little bit murky what happens in each unique kind of book. So these ones are interchangeable basically, depending on which one it actually is. I think Defy Me was the one that I'm thinking of, so I'm going to put that in 5 stars. And then Restore Me, I'm going to put in would recommend, so it's probably like a 4.5 star read now. I wouldn't really rate it up there after all of the other things that I have read this year. We have a ton of the Throne of Glass books in here. Now, we know overall this whole series was a 6-star series for me. So I will be scooting, where is it? Kingdom of Ash is definitely going in 6 stars. That book broke me, and I still cry when anyone brings up a specific scene, or actually multiple specific scenes from that book. It was a heart-breaking, soul-clenching, tear-jerking final book, in my opinion. Oh, I've got 2 Queen of Shadows. I think that was an accident. I think I was meant to have Heir of Fire. Heir of Fire would be in the 6-star series. Queen of Shadows is also going in 6 stars. Empire of Storms, I think, is definitely going in 6 stars. And then I think, where is Tower of Dawn, I'm going to put in 5 stars, but at the very, very front of 5 stars, because this book was I read it in a tandem read with Empire of Storms, but I don't think I would have been able to get through Tower of Dawn without those chunks of Empire of Storms, because there's so much world building and kind of world branching that happens, and exploration that happens in Tower of Dawn, that you kind of have to get used to it and get used to the new characters, get used to new POVs. And I feel like it's kind of like, it's a lot when you're in, you know, the 6th book of an 8th book series. But I did love Tower of Dawn, but I definitely think the tandem read benefited me a ton by doing it. Yeah, this whole series for me is a 6-star read, so I wouldn't be surprised. I would tell you guys not to be surprised that it's up there. I've literally talked about this series all year through on my channel because it is the main kind of big series that I've read this year. Things we hide from the lights. Do you know what? I think I was a bit generous with this one. Like, I feel like it was probably a 4-star read. I think I really, really, really wanted to love it because I loved Things We Never Got Over so much. I have 1 middle grade book on here, I believe. That's Wondersmith, The Calling of Morrigan Crow. I listened to this on audio with my library because they have a free like audio selection. And you know what? This was really, really good. I still haven't read the last book, Hollowpox. I definitely think I preferred this book to the first book, but I think I'm going to say would recommend. I think I'd probably give it like a 4.75. It was close to a 5, but definitely not kind of up there. And the reason why I say that is because although I can remember what happened and although I really, really enjoyed what happened, I just don't think I'd place it, I guess, on the same tier level. We also had Things We Never Got Over in here. There's so many like same in the series books because if I like a series, I am particularly loyal to it. But Things We Never Got Over, I'm definitely going to give in the 5-star zone. I'm not organising them, by the way, by like favourites. But yeah, Things We Never Got Over is definitely going in the solid 5-star. I absolutely love this series. I love Naomi and Knox. I love their chemistry together. And I also thought the addition of Waylay was just such a beautiful thing. And she was one of those kids that's just not annoying. Talking about kids that aren't annoying and are absolutely great, and those single kind of parent tropes. Heartless by Elsie Silver is a definite 5-star. I loved it. The single dad trope just was so good in this, and I felt like they gave us so good chemistry. I know some people do not like the way this book ended, and I can see why people wouldn't. However, for the fact of like their just the way that they are, especially with Luke, the child in the book, I just feel as though it kind of suited them so much. You know, they were at that point in life already and it didn't feel like they were being kind of rushed or forced ahead. We have one more Sarah J Maas. Let's do this one first. This is Court of Silver Flames. I personally loved this. I think it's in between, honestly. It's very, very close to being a 6-star book for me. I think it's one of those things where Sarah J Maas can literally create characters that I dislike for a whole series, give me one book with them and I will fall in love. House of Sky and Breath, I personally am going to put up in my 6-star reads. I just think that Sarah J Maas is I really enjoy Sarah J Maas's writing, okay? And I don't think there's anything wrong with that. I don't think there's anything wrong with it at all. I know people like to slander people who enjoy reading Sarah J Maas. Personally, I don't see a problem with it, and I think especially when you read Throne of Glass, I feel like you get to see just how incredible her writing is. I would definitely say writing in ACOTAR doesn't hold a candle towards the writing in Throne of Glass. Happy Place by Emily Henry. Do you know what? I did really enjoy this one, but it definitely was a lot slower than the other books I've read from her. I'm not sure if I would place it above kind of like beach read by her and book lovers. I think I'm personally going to put it in would recommend, but it's going to be on the high end of would recommend, because I would recommend it more than Restore Me and Wondersmith, obviously depending on the person who I am recommending it to. But yeah, I think I gave it 5 stars because I did really enjoy it. And the thing is, I think I saw a lot of people slandering the book and not enjoying it, and everyone has their own personal opinion, but I feel like I just wanted to show and share how much I enjoyed the book, and I did really, really, really enjoy the book. But again, looking back on it, if I went for like my level of enjoyment and the things that I took out of it, I probably took more out of my 5 and 6 star placed books than I did from Happy Place. Fourth Wing is another easy, solid 5-star read. I really, really, really loved this book. I'm currently still reading Iron Flame. A lot of people said that they're disappointed in Iron Flame, so we'll see. I mean, I have been reading it for a month, like, but I have been super busy gal with lots and lots of uni work, so that's why I'm hoping to finish it by the end of December though, because I do have some time, hopefully, fingers crossed, to spend by myself and just chill out and read some books. It Happened One Summer is another romance book. This is a Tissa Bailey one, and I'm definitely going to put this in a solid 5-star slot. I, again, really enjoyed this one, and this, I think, was one of the first Tissa Baileys that I've read, and I would say that none of the other Tissa Bailey books I have read from her have hit that same level of just greatness that It Happened One Summer had for me. Again, I think this is an open door romance, so it has the spice in it. And I just have a thing, I think, for like small town romances and the grumpy sunshine trope. Sad Ghost Club 3. Now this, Sad Ghost Club 2, sorry. Now this one's a really hard one for me because it is a 5-star read, and I wouldn't feel comfortable giving it anything lower than that. This is purely and simply because of its mental health representation. It represents anxiety and depression in such a non-threatening, easily digestible way. It feels like being wrapped in a warm blanket of comfort and being seen by a book, and being able to do it in such a like easily accessible, like easily digestible way is just so impressive for me. Like the way that it's a black and white graphic novel but has so much to it and holds so much impact, I think it's just really great. Practice Makes Perfect. Oh my god, this is another one that I really like. This is a small town romance shock horror yet again between a florist and a bodyguard. Okay, The Scarlet Veil is another definite 5-star read for me. Oh my god, this read came out of nowhere. I didn't know this was released. I didn't know it was interconnected with the Serpent and Dove trilogy that I enjoyed from Sowerby Mahiring also, but my god, this book was so good and exactly what I needed. It has vampires, it has witches, it has witch hunters, it has so many things going on, and I feel like our main character in this book just holds so much weight. I feel like I explained it so much better in the other video that I did, but honestly this book is like a should read, must read, you know. And also the things that happen to our character in the series of Serpent and Dove are actually horrific, and seeing how she copes with that and how she's dealing with that and the things that she sees and how she's truly getting on, it just means so much to me. I love it. Finally, we have 2 from the same series. This is the Never After series by Emily McIntyre. This is a kind of dark, twisted, fractured fairy tale. Basically not the fairy tale though, with quite a lot of spice. To be honest, these are really well written. I really enjoyed the first 4 books in the series. The only one book that I didn't like was Crossed, and I ended up giving it 2 stars. But these 2 I really like. And one thing that I will say about this series, at least for the first 4 books, is that the dark love interest or the villain, they are always redeemable. They have this redeemable quality, especially to our main love interests, and I think that's so important when you have these dark, fractured romances, is that the main characters don't feel too kind of off the rails, if you know what I mean. Like they have reason, they have purpose, they have, you know, evidence as to why they do what they do, and I think that's so important to have in a dark romance, at least for me. Yeah, these are definitely solid 5-star reads. Like I said, out of the 5 books I've read, I've given 2 5 stars, 2 4 stars, and 1 2-star. So I have had this series be pretty highly rated, and I believe there's only going to be 1 more book coming out. And that is the overall look at our tier list. And to be perfectly honest, I'm really proud of me because there's only really 4 books that I would change, and I feel like that is pretty great. And we have 6 6-star reads up at the top also. That is everything for today's video. I really hope you guys enjoyed. If you did, please leave a like and subscribe to our channel if you're new around here. Would like to see more videos from me, and I'll catch you guys all in my next one. Bye!